Twice has me stressed out, y'all. Hey guys, welcome back to Summers with Wade. Today's video is a little different than my usual content. It's not a review, it's a cry for help. Jokes aside, there's so much happening right now in TWICELAND and I don't even know what to do with myself. So this video is just as much for me as it is for you. Maybe structuring my panic and thoughts will help me process everything. Also, I don't know if I included the D word in the thumbnail or title. Disbandment. If I did, my bad, y'all. We're going through it over here. Also, if you could hear the AC in the background or if I sound a little different, I am so sorry. It is like 96 degrees right now and I am burning alive. And so I had to turn it on. Like, I'm so sorry. So I'm gonna try my best to isolate the audio to remove it, but if I can't, please forgive me. These are dire circumstances. Anyways, so what is happening? Currently, over in TWICELAND, the girls are in the middle of contract renewals after the end of their monumental This Is For World Tour. It's been a whole year of them on the road, so firstly, hats off to them. I had the opportunity to see them live, as many of you know, and truly it was an unforgettable experience. No one, and I mean no one, puts on a show quite like Twice, and to be able to see them up close, it changed my life forever. That might sound like an exaggeration, but trust me when I say I love these women with my whole heart and soul. So I was shocked in many ways when a few days ago it was confirmed that the girls will be going on a temporary hiatus for the first time in 11 years. That's wild to me. Not necessarily the hiatus, but the fact that they've been go non-stop since debut. Obviously, the girls need to rest. This entire tour was even harder than their last simply due to the 360 stage. There's so many moving parts between changing angles and background dancers, plus the 3 different areas of the stage. The whole thing was just more elaborate altogether, and the fact they toured even longer with it is crazy impressive. Obviously, it wasn't without its issues. Dahyun fractured her ankle, Chaeyoung had severe back pain, and although very beautiful, Mina performed after getting double wisdom tooth extractions, and generally, you could tell that the girls were getting tired. Even setting all that aside, 11 years without a hiatus is crazy, so the girls are long overdue for some rest, and when you factor in this crazy tour, even more so. I'm saying all of this to make it abundantly clear that I love and fully support these girls and the fact that they're taking a break. However, that's not what has me stressed out. Jihyo herself even said a few days ago Twice will have another tour in the future. Side note, I've seen memes about the fact that Twice always seems to be on tour, so the fact that she confirmed another one is kind of hilarious to me. But again, hearing from Jihyo herself that the members are going on hiatus was truly a relief. Now, what has me stressed a little bit are all of these reports that are coming out. First, it's that Tzu유's leaving JYP, and then Jihyo and Jeongyeon and Chaeyoung. It's like once they confirmed the hiatus, everything started to crumble online. I do want to stress, at least as of the moment of me writing this and recording it, none of these reports have been confirmed. JYP Entertainment just said that the Twice members are currently undergoing contract negotiations and that they will announce the outcome once everything is settled. However, for me to be at peace, I want to discuss the different reports, starting with Tzuyu. It was reported that she chose not to re-sign with JYP for her solo activities but will remain in the group. I personally don't find this that surprising, seeing how happy she's been the past few months after finally being able to perform in her home country has honestly been beautiful to see. So if, allegedly, in my opinion, she wanted to promote there more regularly and being under JYP inhibited that, then I see it as a no-brainer. It's undeniable the star power and just sheer pull that Tzuyu alone has. She might not be my favorite, but I'm not blind. Besides being gorgeous, she also has a huge fanbase behind her that would support her solo endeavors. Plus, given my less than stellar opinions of her debut mini album, maybe this is an opportunity for her to redirect her sound and general career as a soloist outside of Twice. For Jeongyeon, there's rumors circulating that she will sign with an acting agency to follow in the footsteps of her sister. I remember hearing a while ago what I'll call a rumor because I don't know if it was ever confirmed, but basically from what I remember, Jeongyeon and her sister Seungyeon were approached to do a drama where they portrayed sisters or something like that, and JYP essentially made Jeongyeon turn it down. Again, this is all alleged in my opinion. I couldn't find anything online, but I swore I heard about it. If I'm pulling this out of thin air, my bad. Regardless, if you've seen the channel before, you know how big of a Jeongyeon fan I am. Hell, I even dressed up as her when I went to see them in concert. I've also never been shy about my opinions regarding her personal activities, or lack thereof. There always seems to be something wrong with her schedules, and it's quite frustrating to see. I could make a whole separate video about that, but from cancelling schedules to just seemingly receiving less opportunity, I would not be shocked if she decided to leave. Selfishly, I kind of do wish she would. I've also been very vocal about wanting a solo album from her. I even went as far as making solo albums for all the TWICE members last year, so it's something I'm quite passionate about. I know she said that she wasn't interested in making one, and obviously if she doesn't want to, I will respect that, but I hope it's truly her choice, and not because she was made to feel like she didn't deserve it or it wouldn't be as successful. I don't know if you catch my drift. Again, that could also be a whole separate video that, if you guys want, I will gladly make, because clearly I have a lot to say. Also, side note, did you guys see the photo shoot they did for Harper's Bazaar Korea? Oh my god, they look stunning together. I'm probably throwing up some photos on screen right now, but wow, they're gorgeous. If Jeongyeon does leave and wants to pursue acting, I think she should be able to. After so many years in situations, she deserves to pursue what makes her happy. Obviously, the other part of me wants her to stay for the sake of the group or potential subunits, but who's to say? Even if she leaves, they could still promote as 9. But I could go on and on. For Chaeyoung, it's a similar story. There are reports that she's in talks with various agencies to handle her solo activities while she remains a member of TWICE. Unlike Jeongyeon, she has done a solo under JYP, but unlike the other girls, she debuted with a studio album instead of the traditional mini. It's very evident to me, and I believe other fans would agree, that Chae is very passionate about music and her artistic vision. Even though she isn't one of my favorites and her sound isn't usually my cup of tea, her album was really good. I think she even ended up winning an award or two at my end of year award show from last year, so clearly the vision and creativity are there, but we don't know what the extent of JYPE's limitations are. If she feels creatively stifled under the company, again, it's a no-brainer to look elsewhere. With her specifically, I'm torn on what path I think she'd take, cause while yes, she might be feeling a bit stunted in terms of artistic growth or potential, at the same time, I feel the company gave her a bit more to work with right off the bat when compared to the other girls. She had multiple music videos and had direct input and songwriting credits, so she was much more hands-on in the creation of her project, at least it seems that way. However, I don't know how much of that creative control was granted to her because the company was generous in trusting of her vision, versus them seeing it as a cost-saving measure because they wouldn't have to pay for a whole team or buy songs for her. It could be a little bit of both, plus with her posting the updated logo graph for her album, to me that signifies that she is working on part 2 of Low Fantasy. Lastly, for Jihyo, this one surprised me the most. For me, I feel she is JYP. She's been there for so many years, at this point it's giving Taeyong from Girls' Generation and SM. But according to the reports, she's apparently going to create her own entertainment agency to handle her solo activities, while again, remaining a member of TWICE. For this one, there's a bit to unpack for me. First off, I think that would be a great idea on paper since she would still be able to work around the TWICE schedule if she so desires, while simultaneously taking the reins of her solo career. Speaking of which, let's talk about it. I won't go too in depth because I've had a script about this in the back burner for like a year at this point and it might see the light of day during Summers with Wade. But TLDR, I feel Jihyo was paid dust during her solo. Not monetarily, but from the K-pop fandom as well as JYPE. Her solo album sold incredibly well, I think even outperforming Nayeon's debut. However, the promo just wasn't there. Again, I'll get into this more in that video, but I personally feel that JYP didn't invest as much into the promotion of Jihyo's album, leading to decreased public interest. I'm not saying the album is bad because trust me, it's not, but imagine if they had promoted the music video like they did Pop. I would get an ad for that song all the time, and it worked. Pop was huge. It's still huge. But with Jihyo, I feel the song choice and lack of promotion backfired for her. JYP wasn't doing ads like they used to for their music videos, which hurt the reach the song could have had, but beyond that, Nayeon got a second mini-album less than 6 months after Jihyo's debut, when Jihyo waited a whole year to debut after her. I think I said that right. That's not shade at Nayeon, cause I love her down, especially her second mini-album. However, it's been almost 3 years since Jihyo's debut, and besides her solo song for their 10th anniversary and a few collab songs released in the past few months, she hasn't been given the opportunity to have a comeback. Obviously, the tour played a major role in that, cause they haven't put out new music as TWICE in almost a year as well, so I won't harp on that too much, but she could have done something maybe between Strategy and This Is 4. I know they were probably preparing for the tour, Lala, and also doing K-pop Demon Hunters, so maybe between With Youth and Strategy, either before or after Dive. TWICE's schedule has been jam-packed, but the point I'm trying to make is that maybe there could have been a spot for her to have her second mini, or even a studio album. My frustration is purely selfish because TWICE has been feeding us very well, but I've also seen people on Twitter and Instagram calling her a flop simply because her song wasn't as impactful as Pop. But let me shut up before I do the whole video here, cause I also talked a little bit about this last year before the release of Chaeyoung solo. Essentially, if she were to leave to be able to be in control of her activities, I fully support it. She's been with JYP and in the industry for over 20 years. That alone is mind-boggling, but the fact she only had one mini-album, to me, is even crazier. I could go into detail about the success of ATM and how I feel that shows public interest in that sound from her, but again, I'll save it for the video. But what about the other members? I've seen some people say they think Sana won't renew, which I find crazy. That girl is literally the glue that keeps TWICE together. She would literally explode if TWICE disbanded. I've also seen people talking about Mina leaving and pursuing a slightly more private life. I've also seen people talking about Dahyun pursuing acting instead of traditional idol work, which I do see happening. And Momo, I think is just chilling. I could do a revised video where I talk about my vision for their solos, but more like a video essay instead of an album compilation like I did in the past, but I already mentioned it, so if you're interested, I'll link that video in the iCard. I basically made mini albums for all the TWICE members that didn't have any at the time. I don't really remember how in-depth I explained each one, but I remember being really proud of it. Also, what about MISAMO? I haven't heard any reports, but their first studio album to me kind of felt like a grand finale of sorts. I do hope it's just the theatrical theming and not anything deeper because I genuinely love their discography and their chemistry as a unit. But beyond that, what they mean to J-pop and K-pop as a whole is something I believe is worth preserving. So if all the girls remain under JYP, I can see a very bright future for the subunit. At the end of it, this video isn't about whether the reports are true or not because by the time you're watching this, they may have all been debunked or confirmed. But after organizing my thoughts, all I have left is coming to terms with the fact that TWICE are entering a brand new chapter of their careers. For the first time in over a decade, it feels like the future isn't completely predictable, and honestly, that's terrifying as a once. We've gotten so used to TWICE always being there. Multiple comebacks, world tours, Japanese releases, solos, subunits, it almost became expected. But that's not normal. 11 years without a proper hiatus isn't normal. 11 years of constantly putting everyone else before yourself is not normal. And even though I appreciate every second of it, it should have never become the standard. So while I'm definitely anxious, I think the bigger emotion I'm trying to embody is gratitude. These 9 women have given us 11 incredible years together, and I'm eternally grateful that they're finally taking time to rest. But most importantly, as a fan, I'm grateful they're in a position where they actually have options. If some of them decide to pursue acting, start their own companies, sign with different agencies for solo work, or simply explore new creative opportunities, they've earned the right 100 times over. Selfishly, of course, I want everything to stay exactly the way it is. I want another TWICE album, another world tour, more solo and subunit work. I want it all. But loving an artist also means wanting what's best for them even when the future looks different from what you're used to. One thing I don't think will change though is TWICE themselves. Whether they're all under one company or spread across several, I genuinely believe these women love each other too much to let the group disappear. They've spent over a decade building something that's bigger than any individual contract. At this point, TWICE isn't just a K-pop group, it's a family, a legacy, and one of the most important acts this industry will ever see. So for my peace of mind, this isn't really a goodbye to one era, it's just the beginning of another. Whatever happens with these negotiations, I'll be here supporting all 9 of them. Whether that's as TWICE, as soloists, as actresses, or whatever path they choose to take on next. Because they truly are one in a million. But I appreciate you guys so much for listening to me rant and ramble about this. TWICE is literally my everything, so I've been spiraling for the past 72-ish hours. Initially, today's video was going to be different, but I literally couldn't stop thinking about this, so I had to put my thoughts on paper. Well, on a screen, I guess. But if you'll excuse me, now I'm gonna go back to my little cave and cry. So thank you guys so very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click that bell icon so you're notified every time I post a video. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think the future holds for them? Cause God knows my mind is all over the place. Remember that I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys on Friday for the next episode of the ITZY project. Bye!